The game of the week might be the game of the year. Two 9-1 teams, Chiefs and Rams. It'll be right here in LA, not in Mexico City. And man, the Chiefs, largest point differential in the NFL, plus 113. That's due in large part to their number 2 scoring offense, led by Patrick Mahomes and those 31 touchdowns. That's just one fewer than Tom Brady threw last year in an MVP campaign. Hey, the Rams not far behind, though, as the league's number 3 scoring outfit. They'll be without Cooper Kupp, though. He's done for the year with a torn ACL. Rams wideouts Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods have been really explosive, though. Combined 30 receptions, over 20 yards. Best duo in the league in that category. Otherwise, these two offenses have been pretty similar. The Rams do have the decided advantage, though, in rushing yards per game, led by Todd Gurley. Okay, let's get to the tape here, Coach. Let's start with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Mahomes was sacked 5 times by the Cardinals on Sunday, by far the most they've given up this season. They were also held to their lowest point total of the year. So if there's any correlation there, then, Coach, the blueprint for the Rams this week is what?
Yeah, well, just that. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. And more importantly, you got to get pressure with just a 4 or 5 man front. And that's kind of what Arizona did. And certainly the Rams are capable of that. When you look at the tape, little tomfoolery going on here. You walk the linebacker in there. That brings the center and guard's attention to the right, ends up doubling the nose tackle. That's all well and good, but that leaves left tackle one-on-one out here on an island. And now you're going to see that Chandler gets a free release, or not a free release, a tug pull, and he gets a sack on Mahomes. Now, same type of thing. Linebacker steps up. Now watch what happens. The center and the guards both get involved with Sue and Donald here in the middle. That leaves one-on-one Dante Fowler on the outside. This is a huge part in the game where you had the strip sack. Now what happens? There's no linebacker to pull you in. Now the guard's going to move out and help the tackle. We're not going to let you do that to us twice. But now on the inside, the nose guard goes one-on-one with Ritter, and he gets the pressure on Mahomes. Well, obviously that can happen with the Rams. You can see here with Sue getting all the attention here with the guard in the center. Now the left guard is one-on-one with Donald, and this is not going to go real well without any help. So clearly, if there was a blueprint, what we saw was Arizona showed that if a 4 and 5 man rush and you can create the right one-on-one matchups, you can maybe get to Mahomes and create a problem.
Yeah, and Coach, for pass rushers, the one thing they want to do, you want to pin your ears back and get after the quarterback. But for the Rams, they've got to stop the run if they want to earn the right to rush the quarterback. And I'm sure Wade Phillips will turn on the film, and it feels like his defense is imploding because they can't seem to get off the field. They can't make a tackle. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It goes back to even the Saints game, Rhett.
Yeah.
Because when you look at this play right here, this is just a toss crack. They're going to bring a receiver in here, crack this defensive end, and you're going to see Teron Armstead, the left tackle, pull out. Well, all they're trying to do is get Kamara in space, all right? Mission accomplished. But for the Rams, look at this. I got 2 guys right here closing in on Kamara. All you got to do is squeeze him. And like a vice, this should be a tackle. Look what happens. Kamara makes them both miss. All right, this ends up as a touchdown. That should have been
third bonus tackle miss.
Yeah, that should have been the end of the game, end of the play right there. All right, this is a run formation, right? Everything about this screams run. Forget about the fact that there's a trips formation over here. All right, but I want you to watch this guy right here, Troy Hill. Look at his eyes. All right, watch what happens on the snap here. All right, he's running over for the bubble screen. The only problem is the running back's got the ball. He's about to run right up his back right here. All right, so he's late on the recognition, right? I want you to watch this right here because this makes no sense. Watch Troy Hill right here. What is this, Rhett? All right, I know you play college football. Did you play flag football too?
Trying to get the flag?
What is this, practice, Coach? He's tagging off on the ball carrier right here. I got 3 guys right here. 1, 2, 3 guys. Not one of them takes a shot in making this tackle right here. Another big rushing play right here against this Rams defense. Wade Phillips can't believe what he's seeing. All right, the last play right here. Now this play, you're playing the Seattle Seahawks, right? Run formation. What do you think is going to happen right here with Russell Wilson in the backfield and when he gets this ball?
Trouble.
All right, you think read options happening? You think he's not going to read this defensive end right here and give the ball if he rushes up the field or keep it if he runs down? Well, I'm sure Wade Phillips told this defensive end, you better crash. I want you to take this running back. Let our fold player, let the linebacker take the pitch guy. Well, that's not what happens. Defensive end runs up the field. Another missed tackle right here. When you look at the Rams defense, they're leading the league right now in yards per carry allowed. 5.3 yards. I almost don't recognize it. 20 missed tackles in the last 2 weeks, Rhett. That's not good football. They're getting away with it because their offense is bailing them out, but they've got to step up in that area.
Yeah, that's a surprising thing. It's one thing to lose the one-on-one matchups, but when you've got a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio like we saw, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are going to make a heyday with that if indeed they can get even the one-on-one matchup.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Right? He leads the NFL right now in missed tackles, so that's what they're dealing with this week.
Well, and a lot of the same things we're saying about this Rams defense, we could say about this Chiefs defense, because they are certainly in for a challenge this week, although they have more sacks than anybody in football right now through 10 weeks. What challenge do they have this week with Jared Goff?
They are the sneakiest, best pass rushing team in the NFL.
Yeah, because they're giving up a ton of yards.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about the Rams pass rushers, rightfully so. When you look at the Chiefs, they're doing a great job on the edge. Obviously, D Ford, it starts off with him. So let's take a look at how our team's trying to defend. All right, you're going to get a chip right here on D Ford because he's off the edge to help out the right tackle right here. Well, what does that do? All right, that leaves this guy right here, Chris Jones, one-on-one. All right, he's second on the team with 7 sacks as a defensive tackle. Now, I want you to watch this little hand swipe right here, Rhett. All right. This right here is how you beat a guard. The double hand swipe right here clears the hands, and watch him run through the hip on this. Now, this is interesting right here because I don't know this technique, all right? I've used a lot of different techniques in my time as an offensive lineman. We used to have a saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But I've never pulled on the back of someone's jersey as he sacked my quarterback. But that's what Chris Jones is making guards do.
He didn't even get flagged for it.
And he did not get flagged for it. All right, so the Chiefs, how are they getting a lot of these sacks? Well, it's, we call it the 4-2-5 mug defense. All right, it's 4-2-5 mug because we're talking about the mugged A-gappers. You got 4 down linemen. What does that do? That forces the running back to come in here in the A-gap and block, and it creates one-on-ones for your defensive ends. And here's D Ford taking advantage of that. All right, watch the lean right here on the speed rush by D Ford. All right, this right here is called closing the gap and running the rim. D Ford's doing a phenomenal job right now. He's got 9 sacks, so 16 sacks between D Ford and Chris Jones. It's going to be a great matchup to watch them against this Rams offensive line. And when you think about the Rams O-line, the right guard, Austin Blythe, and Rob Hamenstein, the right tackle, neither one of them has allowed a sack this entire season, so it's going to be a great matchup for the Chiefs.
Well, and now the Chiefs have gotten Justin Houston back, played for the first time last week in about a month. Didn't have a sack, but now that he's got a game under his belt, it'll make this pass rush even more formidable for the Chiefs. Yeah, it was the Who Dats over Who Day in Cincinnati on Sunday, and these two running backs obviously a big reason why. Alvin Kamara averaging a few more touches per game than Mark Ingram so far this season. Obviously the big disparity there with total touchdowns. Ingram has played 4 less games.
I got a nickname for him.
What do you got?
Yeah, I call him Camagram.
That's edgy.
Camagram.
I like that. Cam with a K.
I like that.
Obviously.
I like
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach is cutting edge.
Well, Coach, the Eagles.
I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna use it and give you credit the first time. After that, it's mine.
Deal.
Coach Jim Schwartz can't like what he's been seeing in his run defense. They absolutely fell off a cliff in Week 10 against the Cowboys. They were doing pretty good, giving up less than 90 a game, and now they watch the Cowboys go for 171. So what was the difference, and how did they get back on track against this dual threat of Kamara and Ingram? Camagram, excuse me.
Well, if they get challenged by Elliott, that 2 you just showed, obviously you got to do something special. And what is this a game of, Sean?
Numbers and angles, Coach.
That's right. So you better add the numbers to the box, but that's not always the case. You're going to see here against the Cowboys, the Eagles add the extra man. It's 11 personnel, 1 tight end and a running back. They have 7 people in the box. They got a 1-man advantage. What do the Cowboys do? They run away from the widest end and watch what the remaining 6 guys do. They get a hat on a hat. They win across the board, and that's how the Cowboys were able to run for 171 yards. Well, you know what? Saints are able to do the same thing. Here's 11 personnel, 7 people in the box. What do? They run away from the widest end. Their 6 guys get up to the second level, hat on a hat, and they win the one-on-one matchups, even though they've got the superior numbers on defense. Now, this is where you get into trouble. You got Drew Brees going, okay, you want to add extra numbers? I know this is empty. You got an extra rusher here. You got 5 guys. Hey, I know I got one-on-one. I'm going to check. I'm going to check me to a pass where I can get the ball to Michael Thomas against Jimmy Smith one-on-one because I know there's no help over the top. It is one-on-one, and they up getting a big play. So obviously Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, he looks at the film. He knows he's going to probably need that extra man to stop the running game. The question is, can I match up one-on-one on the outside when Drew Brees sees that and checks to these verticals down the field?
The Saints offense has scored 40 or more points now 5 times already this season. Wow. 1 more and it'd be an NFL record. And now, Sean, scoring has not come as easy for Philly. And so as we're left trying to figure out why Philly just hasn't been special this year, Nelson Aguilar comes to mind. Had a breakout year a year ago. Just haven't seen that same type of impact this year.
Yeah, last year Nelson Aguilar is the reason why they traded Jordan Matthews to Buffalo. And the 8 touchdowns that he did from the slot last year were a huge part of their success. So was the run game, which hasn't been there either. But let's take a look at Nelson Aguilar. All right, here is the bottom of the screen. And this play action pass right here, he's just going to run through this coverage right here. Run right by the safety of this cover 3. This is almost a perfect throw by Carson Wentz. And this is how close they've been this year. And he just can't come down with that catch right there. Last year, he made that catch. This year, it's just been tougher for them. So Carson Wentz says, look, I believe in you. I'm coming right back to you. In the same game, a game where he had 3 drops, Carson Wentz kept coming back to him. Here he is on 3rd and 21, Rhett. Runs right down the seam here. And this is a great ball by Carson Wentz. Just Nelson Aguilar can't come down with the football. It's just a drop.
That's tough.
So here's another play against Jacksonville where Carson Wentz and Nelson are just not on the same page. Here he is in the slot right here, and he's going to have the middle of the field wide open. Carson's going to lob this ball right out here for him, expecting the skinny post, and he runs to the outside. For some reason, Nelson and Carson are not on the same page. And look, the catches are there, the yards are there, the touchdowns just aren't showing up on game day. And I think when you look at this Eagles offense, Carson Wentz, his numbers are actually better statistically than they were last year, but it's just not showing up on the scoreboard. And I think the run game, the lack of it therefore, and Nelson Aguilar not scoring has been a big factor.
Yeah, he went from 14th in touchdown percentage a year ago to 133rd this year in relation to his
big drop.
Total amount of catches. All right, Shaun, let's get back to the tape here. Let's talk Vikings and Bears. And Kirk Cousins having a career year, but protecting him has been a bit of an issue. Yeah,
he's already been sacked 24 times. That's 2 more times than Case Keenum was sacked all of last year. So for the Monsters of the Midway, with Khalil Mack coming back, as you talked about last week on Playbook, how are they going to get to the quarterback? Well, let's just show you what the teams have been doing. All right, teams have been trying to chip with Khalil Mack. Well, even when you chip him, Rhett, he still finds a way to bull rush and power through these tackles. Khalil Mack is a speed rusher, but he builds a lot of power based off of that speed. Here he is sacking Matthew Stafford. Well, all right, so now we got to find a way to take Mack out. We can't let Mack ruin the game. All right, so now we're going to chip him off the left side here with a tight end, and we're going to slide to him as well. So now we've got basically 3 guys coming out there to help. We're not going to let Khalil Mack ruin us. Well, what does that do? That opens up on the other side now. Now you've got Leonard Floyd and Akeem Hicks one-on-one. When you look at Akeem Hicks, he's got 3 sacks and 9 quarterback hits, which leads the team. He's also got 3 forced fumbles. So great one-on-one matchups for them. Now you look at the Vikings. You just talked about Case Keenum. Can they protect him? This was against the Detroit Lions. Ziggy Ansah is going to get home right here. Kirk Cousins has 6 fumbles this year already. He's got to hold on to the football.
Okay, let's take a look at the Bengals and Ravens here. Joe Flacco injured his hip in a Week 9 loss to the Steelers. Had the bye week last week, and still today, here this Wednesday, did not practice with the hip injury. So, Coach, if Flacco can't go, would you go with Lamar Jackson or RG3?
Personally, I would go with RG3, but it depends on what the coach's situation is. If I know I'm secure and I don't have to worry about my job, I go with RG3, or I go with Lamar Jackson because I'm going to go for the future. But if I need to win right now, I'm going to go with RG3. Here's what you get out of Lamar Jackson. He hasn't thrown a lot of balls at this point, only 27 plays total. Here you can see on a 3rd and long, he actually delivers from the pocket down to the middle of the field. But this is what you typically see out of Lamar Jackson at the quarterback position. Here you're going to see against the Carolina Panthers, he's going to have an opportunity that he's going to get a shot down the field. He sees the free safety. He's got the inside guy in the slot clearing across the field. The free safety is going to jump that. He's got a shot to the 2nd slot man going in, leaving the numbers, approaching the hash. He doesn't even see it. All right, what does he do? He checks it down. That's going to be the challenge for Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, the Bengals overall defense has been a challenge. They are last in a number of categories here. They fired Terrell Austin. Coach, how does Marvin Lewis figure this thing out?
Well, he's taken over the play calling, and that's dangerous because Marvin Lewis coached for me, obviously, in Baltimore. Brilliant play caller. But the problem is, you're held accountable as a head coach to every win or loss. Well, as a play caller, you're accountable for every call. So if he has 300, 400, 500 calls over the rest of the season, they're going to call him. If he can't perform there, it becomes, well, why are we even keeping you around if you can't even call the defense? This is a perilous time for Marvin Lewis and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, no question about it. Another big game that I'm looking forward to this week, Texans and Redskins. Texans putting their win streak on the line.
Yeah.
That'll be one to watch. Can they stay atop the AFC South? All right, for Coach Billick, Shaun O'Hara, I'm Rhett Lewis. You know what to do. Bring your playbook next Wednesday. We'll see you at 6:30 Eastern Time.